Well, hello again. In case you've forgotten who we are, we're your crypto buddies, and I'm Jody.
I'm Nat. It's nice to be back. It's been a while.
It's been a very long time.
Yep.
Basically, 2 years of trying to learn trading has really clipped us around the ears. We've had a bit of a bashing.
And truly.
I remember in 2024 thinking, oh, it's the Bitcoin halving and everything's going to go up.
Here we go.
It's going to be like huge money and all this stuff. The thing is, though, when you're really first starting to understand how these crypto cycles work, you kind of skim over the memo that says take profits. So at some stage there were like really good numbers sitting on our portfolio and we didn't sell, and then things started going down and down, and then all the crypto bros out there thought that Trump was going to be the savior of all markets, and particularly crypto. And I remember the day in particular, 23rd of January, was when the meme debacle happened, where he rug pulled and all these people lost tons of money, crashed the market. Then through to April, it was just a massive decline. So what should have been the peaking of our bull run ended up being going back to sort of square one. It was harsh. And then some personal stuff came up for us. I raced back to Australia in time to, for my dad's passing. I'm very grateful that I was there to be there with him and my mum. We're going back again very soon for the 1 year anniversary. And there was just a lot of emotional stuff. And I think it wasn't until later in the year when we found out that it was the Chinese year of the snake, and there is lots of shedding and collapsing
of structures and things that felt so secure and so certain suddenly just falling away. So I don't know if you've experienced that yourself during 2025, but so many people that we've spoken to just went, oh my God, 2025 was literally a shit show. It was just horrible.
And
so many levels.
This is sort of on a holistic viewpoint, not just in this crypto space. But we were reading something. We are very into the power of the astrological movements. So, do you say you're into astrology or horoscopes or this or that? It's sort of like, it doesn't matter what the label is. We're just very aware of, just how the moon can change the tides. These planets can change everything. And one thing that we are 100% sure of is that everything in this universe is mathematically driven. Everything comes into balance. Everything is Fibonacci style, calculated, all of this sort of stuff. And we just read an article today. Today's a pretty important day for us as well.
Yes.
And it said that between March and October last year, there was this sort of energy influence that was preempting what's going to happen at the end of February, which is a massive shift and change. And if I look at the markets, it's like we actually got to the all-time high during that period. And then on the 10th of October, massive devastation, huge crash. Literally,
we were actually watching that happen. We were just happened to be looking at the charts at the exact time and just went, what on earth is going on in the markets? Or I'm madly looking up what's going on around the world, because it's like it's World War III started or something. It was just down. Like things dropping 80 and 90%.
They're calling it a technical glitch, which is as scary as fuck. If that is the case.
I don't think it was. I think it was
manipulated.
Totally orchestrated.
Absolutely manipulated, orchestrated.
Someone made a lot of money out of that.
Yeah. A lot of money both on the way down and on the way up.
Yep.
But what it did was completely destroyed the patterns that happen in the market. And it took another few months to try and find the true rhythm of what should be happening through the market cycle. And as of yesterday, it all collapsed again. That felt more as part of a cycle. Like it definitely was fitted with the pattern. It wasn't as crazy as the 10th of October. But I guarantee nobody in the crypto space thought that we were going to be going to such a low price point, not just for crypto, but for the entire total market cap to be just dropping like that. It felt too early. You know,
Yeah,
it felt like it was
too early.
Too many months too early. So anyway, we're coming back here onto this channel because we have suffered huge losses.
We've lost so much money in this bull run.
We made some crazy decisions 2.5 years ago that is affecting us now big time that we want to rectify. So we're coming back onto this channel.
That's the good thing about crypto. There's always another day and there's always another game. The games never end, you know, unless you start walking away from it. So we decided we're not walking away from it. We still do believe in crypto and what it stands for and what it can do for us financially and for other people financially, yourself, you know, watching this video. So it is important for us to stay in crypto and to sort of put that stake in the ground that no, it's a way to be free.
Yeah.
You know, out of the banking system, unbank yourself, away from governments at this stage. And just take some sovereignty back of your own financial future. And we are really, like we've just sat this morning for an hour or two, just really discussing how we're going to approach it now. And that we're here at this spot, line in the sand. Okay, yes, we have made lots and lots of mistakes, but by God, we have learnt so much in this bull run. It's ridiculous.
And the flip side, because everything is balanced, as I was saying, this sort of mathematical equation of what drives the markets, just as what drives each and everyone's lives. The balance aspect is that, yes, we made a ton of mistakes and we lost a shit ton of money that we shouldn't have lost. But the flip side, the balance side, is we've had no income for at least 18 months. And the only way we've been able to pay our rent and pay our bills and take flights to Australia in emergency situations from here in Mexico is because we had our crypto. And the really interesting thing, you know how you can like shift perspective on things, just very slight shifts can totally change the reality of what you're experiencing. I know that when I've had to take some of our crypto out, you know, to buy that emergency flight to Australia or pay our rent, I was always like, oh, the market's down at the moment. And then we see what happened on the 10th of October and we've been able to sit and say to each other, well, thank goodness we were taking and selling off some of those alts that were so down at the time from where they had been at, you know, around the Bitcoin halving and sort of later. I think the biggest high happened after Trump was elected on the 5th of November.
Roared up after that.
2024. That was the big hike, and then it just dumped again. You know, it's like it's just
really never come
really
back
crazy. Yeah. So anyway, we can talk crypto a lot and talk about macro events that are going to affect what's happening this year. But this year, it's come around really quickly and it's accumulation time. This is the time to get back into crypto, which is actually a year earlier than what we did when we came sort of into this last cycle.
Yeah,
we were about a year late.
Shorter. It was supposed to be a 4-year cycle.
No, it definitely has been. It was 2022 that was the bear market year. It's 2026. It's a bear market year. But what happened was we were so busy, you know, licking our wounds from the previous cycle that, you know, we got in on the high, as most people did, and then lost everything, you know, 6 months later and forgot to sell again. But the repeating of this time is that we missed the start. We missed the accumulation phase, which is literally now.
That is where true wealth is made, is the accumulation phase, when it's right down. So the accumulation phase is after the bear market, when it drops. And
it's
then
actually from this bear market side.
Yeah, so it sits along the bottom, just bubbling along, not much is happening. That is where true wealth is made, because if you can buy in at that stage at those low levels and then ride it back up, you're going to make like 10 times your money.
Well, that's if you're just wanting to buy and hold. But we're going to talk about all different strategies on this channel. We've come up with a game between ourselves of like a little competitive thing about how the different ways that we like to trade, the different ways that we want to regrow our Bitcoin stash that we stupidly swapped out for alts and had it decimated into nothing. But it also fed us. So like I said, I'm not looking at it as a, woe is me type of thing. I made a dumb decision. It's like, no, actually, it would have been harder to sell the Bitcoin through that time than what it was to sell some of these dumbass alts that we bought.
Yeah, we wouldn't have sold. So, so our games. We do trade very differently. So I guess in the last 2 years, we've actually explored so many different ways of trading and different people that we love following. And we have different ideas on how we actually like to trade.
Well, it's helped us identify what works for each of us. So we invite you to come along on the journey, watch what Nat does with her snakes and ladders games and the way that she's trading via trade alerts, like literally not having to
being handed the trade details, so I don't even have to look at charts and work it all out.
She will look at charts because she's got some extra knowledge now just for Confluence. I'm sure sometimes she'll probably just do blind faith and just, go straight in.
Yep.
But that's part of the game that we're playing, and I'm going to be only trading Bitcoin, gold, and silver. I'm not looking at any alts. Nat will be trading some alts through her trade alerts. I am literally only focusing on doing the technical analysis on Bitcoin and gold and silver if I feel to expand out of Bitcoin, if I've got extra money and I want to put on other trades.
But you're doing more day trading, scalping. Those
I'm
really
going to be doing
quick trades,
scalp trades for both growing my pocket money for myself, but also mainly growing our Bitcoin stash. And that's doing the trade alerts in order to grow her pocket money for herself, but really replenish our lost Bitcoin.
Yes, so I'm going to be doing swing trading, which is a lot more looking at longer term charts.
Looking for big pivots.
And looking for big pivots. So we've had a massive run down, and then obviously we're going to go back up to some degree. So it's actually sort of buying and selling to catch those big pivots on there for the longer term. So with the pure idea of actually growing our Bitcoin again. So we're not going to add fiat money or normal money into our account. We're actually going to grow it from doing these trades.
Now, in saying that, this is our path, our journey. We'd love you to come along and almost even make your bets who's going to make the most or something like that. But if you are in a position where you don't have much Bitcoin to use to accumulate more Bitcoin, which is what we're going to be doing, the little bit of Bitcoin we've got left, we're going to be using it to grow. What you can do is definitely do dollar cost averaging, which is where you're buying Bitcoin over this next year or so. It doesn't matter what the price is, just look for accumulating amounts. And it doesn't matter if you can only accumulate 0.000113 or something like it. That the idea is grow more Bitcoin. And I do want to talk a lot about the Bitcoin side of things. Is you need to be removed from the price of it. There's a bigger picture as to why. We'll talk about that next time, but we just really wanted to pop back in here now and sort of let you know that we're back. We are your crypto buddies. We are going to be sharing everything we've learned from all the mistakes that we've made. I don't want you making the same mistakes.
God, no, there's no reason to. We've done it. Clean the slate. Let's go. Let's do something that's really different now and is, more positive.
So our first cycle in the crypto space, we jumped in at the height of the bull market. The next cycle, we jumped in at the end of the accumulation phase. This cycle, we're getting in at the right time. Yep. We're getting in now. This could possibly be a bottom. It could go a little bit more. It doesn't matter. To me, the bear market happened it started on the 10th of October. It destroyed what patterns and flow was happening in crypto. So to me, we've been in a bear market, since the 10th of October, only just realizing it now. And
I kept saying it.
That means
it's a bear market.
We could go longer into bear, but either way, to me, we're getting in at the start.
Now's about the time. Regardless, now's the time to start playing the game. If you really want to make life-changing wealth, this phase is it.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than what comes right now over this next year.
So we're here to walk you through it.
Yeah.
You can follow us on our journey and take our recommendations.
See me win over Jody, make more money.
Well, you're going to make more Bitcoin because she's getting more Bitcoin to play with, but that's going to be on swing trades. I'm going to be just playing with a little bit of Bitcoin to try and grow it that way. But anyway, we'll walk you all through it. And if you've got any specific questions, let us know. The tools and the trainings and the indicators and the trade alerts and everything that we use will all be written down in the description below.
Yep.
So
I'll walk you through it in other videos too.
Absolutely. Anyway,
go on. Alrighty. See you soon.
Yep.